So a few times in my career, I've needed to make a tension limiting device. And this is the device where I want stretch, but I don't want increased force. So I've made this device here where I can apply a load to it, and it kind of limits the load. It does increase a little bit, but I get a lot of stretch for not much additional force, and I get a preload. So it's kind of like an extension spring that has been built with a preload in it. So why did I build this? Well, I have a spot on my roller coaster where I want to brake, and I need to release the brake with a good amount of force, and then I need additional distance traveled without any more brake releasal. So I've developed this, you can see it here on the coaster, to do just that. So let's look at how this thing works. It's actually quite simple. All right, you can see here I've got it disassembled. It's got three main components. I've got a pipe end cap with a eye hook bolted through it. Very simple, you can pick up all those. Here I got a 1/2 inch piece of pipe threaded on both ends. I bought this in the irrigation section of Home Depot. Another cap here, hole drilled through it with a piece of all thread and a bunch of springs. I got it double nutted here because I don't want to use a lock nut on all thread, so I'll never get it off. On this end here, I've got a washer followed by a couple rubber washers. And the purpose of the rubber washers is that when this thing releases, if it releases quickly, it has something to absorb that shock so I don't crack this end cap. So I've got another double nut here that I can adjust the preload with. And then I have a way to attach it to my rope. I 3D printed a piece here. And then I bolted it through so I don't have to worry about the layers separating. And I get a nice smooth transition in there. So I could have used another eye bolt like this one and got a nut coupler to couple the two on there. So the way it works is as I push here, I get a normal linear spring rate. Well, if I tighten this up, I now have that initial spring force in there. And then I can add a little bit linear so that if I have a graph, it'll look quite like this as I pull it. All right, so it's a nice little tool. I've used it a lot in testing. So I've used it a few times in cyclical load applications where I have a load I want to get to, but I don't want to add an expensive electronic control system to monitor that load. So here I can say, like, as long as I know this part comes out a little bit, I'm going to have, 10 pounds. And that brings me to the cool part of how to calibrate this. So once I reassemble it, I hang this vertically, I put a known weight on there, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, whatever it might be. And I go ahead and tighten these up to where it's just taut right there. And now I know anytime I start moving, I have that preload or higher on it. So if you want to know more about building one of these and the calculations that are behind it, selecting the spring size, etc., please look in the description. There's a link below to a blog post on my website. Tell you everything you need to know about building a force limiting device. Thank you for watching and have a great day.